Project Sapient is a podcast meant to engage our brothers and sisters in the law enforcement and military communities in conversations that we all know we need to have. All opinions you'll hear are our own, are protected by our First Amendment of the United States Constitution, and in no way reflect or are meant to reflect the opinion of any specific agency, officer, or service member. Some opinions may be controversial. Listener discretion is advised. Enjoy. Hi, man.
Hello.
What up?
What's up? We're going to do something new.
We're doing this new shit?
Yeah.
There we are.
Here we are.
What a good-looking fucking Greek on the screen. Holy shit.
Dude, stop.
Who is that guy?
Stop. Stop. My
Guys, extra special episode today. First of all, thank you to all our supporters. Gym Junkies, LiveBoston617.org, VectorShields.com, Havoc Journal. Always thanking and loving Havoc Journal. And now we have a new one, Wellness for Warriors. Now, Wellness for Warriors, we have the ladies on the line. They're on mute right now. But what they do is absolutely insane for the law enforcement and the military community. I mean, give me 20 seconds of what they do.
So I actually stumbled upon them on the interwebs, Instagram.
On the interwebs.
Yeah, on the interwebs. And started following them, and I honestly got hooked. I mean, I got to see what they do, what they offer for law enforcement veterans, different ways of therapy. You know, even an ear is someone to listen to. You know, someone can listen to you. I believe they're all over the nation, and fortunate enough to connect to the two founders.
Yeah,
and we're gonna have them on.
So we're gonna do everything in our power to help these ladies get out to absolutely everybody. Project Sapient is out there. We're trying to save lives first and foremost.
Absolutely.
Right? Out of all the fuckery that we do and all the fucking around,
yep.
The one thing that we want to make sure is that people are taken care of.
Yeah.
And these ladies, we've been talking to them for a few days. They've been awesome. Let me get them on the line here. Ladies, you there?
We're here.
Hey, welcome.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, so tell us who you are and what you do. We don't have all fucking night, so no, I'm just kidding. No. Yeah, tell us a little bit about what Wellness for Warriors does, and we'll just kind of take it from there.
Okay, so I'm Jeanna Marie. I am an active law enforcement officer. I am also a New York State clinical social worker. So Wellness for Warriors, Meghan and I co-founded to provide more so preventive care for first responders and their families.
Okay.
We know firsthand what it's like to be a first responder, to experience trauma, and the stigma that goes along with the suffering. So we have come up with Wellness for Warriors. My part in the program is I provide peer support, nutrition coaching, and fitness coaching to the first responders and their families. With my mental health background, I was a clinical social worker for 10 years before becoming a police officer.
Oh, wow.
So, and I specialize in trauma treatment with families, children, and adults. I worked inpatient in psych wards. I worked inpatient in residential treatment, and then also did outpatient. So the project is the culmination of both of my passions in life.
Sure.
And our main objective is just to make sure that first responders are receiving the help that they need to live their most productive life.
That's absolutely amazing. So, Meghan, what's your role in this?
So my role is, Jeanna Marie and I kind of work in tandem, but I handle the healing portion of things. So Jeanna takes over when someone will first come to us.
Meghan, I'm gonna stop you. You're breaking up a little bit. Are you in a bad spot?
Oh. No, I don't think so.
Damn cell towers.
Is it okay?
Oh, yeah.
Now it's okay.
Now it's okay. Yeah.
All right, so start over exactly what you were just saying.
Thank you so much. Okay. So basically, my background here is I was a 9/11 survivor. And coming out of that, I saw what our first responders do for us every day. And my passion has always been to want to give back to what our first responders do for us. And we understand the stress of the job, the cumulative trauma, the need for first responders to have an outlet, somewhere where they can go and not have this fear that in some way it's going to impact their career or do anything to them. They're very worried about talking about their mental health in the department. So the dream has always been have a place where they can go that can help them, where they can talk, have someone to listen, but also a space where they can learn tools to deal with the stress of the job, the day-to-day critical incidents that they deal with. I provide tools to be able to manage that. So we work together. Jeanna Marie handles all of the incidents when they come in, they want to talk. She handles the peer support. And then I sort of handle the healing portion of things, sleep support, meditation, yoga, mindfulness to help with the day-to-day, just so that they're feeling their best.
That's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Like you girls are, Jesus Christ, like, thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Well, thank you for all that you do. We're very aware, and we're aware, in this last year, just how stressful everything has been for first responders, but law enforcement in particular. Right. And we know that you need a space that you can go to, and where the biggest thing with us is that we're free, we're confidential. We have peer supporters who are active and retired law enforcement officers throughout the country who are willing and ready to just sort of talk to first responders. And, it's very, very healing when you can talk to somebody else who gets it, who's been there,
right.
who's going through it at the same time.
Yeah.
And so just to have that space that you can do it and it doesn't have to be in your department is one of the most important things. And that's what we provide. And we make sure that, we're there for them 24/7. So a lot of what we hear from first responders is, I did need to talk to someone. They gave me a name and, they didn't call me back for 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So at the department I work at, we didn't have a mental health policy at all with regard to our own officers. So obviously we have policies on how to deal with, civilians that have mental health issues, but no one addresses how or what we should do for ourselves. So in coming up with our mental health policy at our department, I called our employee assistance program, which is who our department tells us to call if we need help.
Oh, wow.
It was the most horrifying experience.
What do you mean?
So as a clinician calling them, I was like, so I wanted to see if one of our guys needed help, what they would get on the other end. So I called myself just to see. And I was like, and she said, okay, so I'm going to ask you a few questions. It's a short intake. Then I'm going to forward your information to our list of providers. If anyone's available, they'll get back to you within a week or two. And then from there, they'll do their own intake to see if you're appropriate for their practice. And I was like, Jesus Christ, if somebody's
sitting there with a gun in his mouth, that's exactly what he wants to fucking hear.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. I was like disgusted.
Yeah.
So I developed our mental health policy so that at least the guys at our department know that there's a confidential person who they can talk to. And I've designed it so that fear of being rubber gunned or put behind a desk or fired is eliminated as much as it possibly could. But at Wellness for Warriors, we also know that it's not just my department that deals with that. This is unfortunately the stigma and the way that higher ups think.
Yeah.
That once you have a mental health issue, you're broken.
Done. Yeah, you're broken.
Yeah. And I've had to explain that if a guy breaks his ankle at work and comes back with a letter from a doctor saying he's fit for full duty, it's the same thing with mental health. There's a doctor, It's a different kind of doctor, but it's a doctor nonetheless saying that they're fit for duty. There's nothing wrong with them. They're not broken.
These things can be fixed.
Yeah.
Like we all have issues, right? and we all have our outlets. Ayman and I talk about them every week, right? Like Ayman, obviously he's fucking Lou Ferrigno and Arnold Schwarzenegger. he likes to work out.
I lift big things.
Yeah, I pick things up and put them down.
Yeah, exactly. So
get in the chopper.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, exactly. That's my outlet. I mean, my other outlet I found, through Havoc Journal, being able to write all those articles that I write. Just putting my thoughts in words have actually also been an outlet on my end. But the unfortunate part is, as we all know, a lot of first responders, law enforcement, they can't find an outlet. They don't know what their outlet is, and they get lost.
Well, that's exactly it. And that's, I think, what is sort of my role in in our group is to help people understand that healing the mind is like healing any other body part, right? Yeah. We can do it through things like journaling, mindfulness, meditation. Yeah, it is very normal to experience a reaction to the work that you do, right? Because you're human.
Yeah.
And I think people don't view you that way, right? You're thought to be maybe superhuman, and you just have to go from critical incident to critical incident and not really take care of yourself. But we can undo our humanness. No matter how amazing you are in your role, in your job, you're going to experience feelings from that and trauma.
Yeah, keep going. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, go right ahead.
So a lot of the things that Ayman and I are trying to doing is I want to call it dumb it down for the public, right? Like, because we have a lot of police officers that are listening, but we also have a lot of civilians that are listening too. And that's going to be, big part of our trainings, especially 6 months from now, we're going to be inclusive of the civilian people. We're going to bring in community leaders. We're going to put them through some minimal training, some force on force type of stuff. We're going to show them how the stressors and the stress inoculation works. We're going to get their heart rates up. We're going to shoot at them. We're going to do everything. But the one thing that, I'll give one thing away that Ayman and I are going to do. We're going to have somebody sitting in a car and reading a fucking newspaper, right?
Yeah.
And we're going to try and we're going to bore them to death for 5 minutes. And we're going to bore them to all hell, and then we're going to bring their heart rate from 0 to 1,000 miles an hour in a split second. And then after that, we're going to ask them, hey, what did that do to your body?
Yeah, that is the most amazing thing I've ever heard. I've said that to, I can't tell you, countless people, that I think that civilians need to go through that, because it's very comfy to stand on the outside and say, you should have done this, you should have done that, you shouldn't have done that.
Everybody's good at Monday morning quarterbacking, but they're not as good as Brady when they're ready to go. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Right. And I think, and I try to explain it to civilians as well as police officers, that every human being carries an emotional backpack.
Oh, yeah.
Everything that you deal with every day, all day, from the minute you wake up, if you wake up and you have kids and there's a kid crying, or you have a sick kid, or you get into an argument with your significant other, or you get into an accident on the way to work, whatever it is, you're already loading little rocks into that bag.
Absolutely.
Then you get to work.
And then Ayman comes over and fucking pushes me over.
Pretty much. Yeah. That's my job.
And then you can't get back up. Terrible day.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I mean, that's the thing is, you like us, not only do we deal with the public on the outside, but we also have a private life that we also deal with.
Right.
That's exactly right.
So a lot of, again, like, you said it was funny, the superhuman, which I am. I bleed
Shut the
green.
Fuck up.
But I remember one road detail I was doing, and it was like a long day. It was almost a 10-hour day and stuff. And I just went for my lunch break with the crew, with the crew, construction that I was working. And this one person was so mad at me because I wasn't there to cross them across the road.
What do you mean?
I'm supposed to be there. I'm not allowed to eat.
You couldn't take a break?
No, I'm not supposed to. Yeah, exactly.
Get out of here.
So stuff like that I don't think the public realizes, or they have this fantasy or whatever you want to call it, that we're not human, and we're trained not to feel, or we're trained not to
look. A lot of it's the media, right? Like they like to romanticize things.
Oh my God!
They like to Monday morning quarterback things because it gives them ratings.
You mean CSI is not real?
Yeah, right.
I can solve a case in 20 minutes, just like them.
But the other issue that I see with the media and even Hollywood is how they're portraying law enforcement themselves, right?
Yeah.
You always got the cool movies are the detective that's had 20 years, smokes 8 packs a day, drinks a bottle every fucking night, right?
Listen,
Yeah.
True.
my hero was
It's
Cobretti. All right.
Who?
Cobretti. Cobra.
Amen, brother. Fucking high five.
I've always wanted that 1911 with the Cobra on there.
My hair is kind of like fucking
jean
Cobra.
jacket, Def Leppard on the back. I'm all about that.
Badass. We need to bring that back to
We
fucking
do.
law enforcement.
We do. Hey, I already do Cowboy Boot Fridays.
Yeah, you did. You posted that all over.
Posted.
I need to get cowboy boots.
Yeah, we do silly things, but anyway, so just coming back. I mean,
Yeah.
So with the whole thing with the stigma, I mean, coming back from war back in 2005, it was pretty much the same in terms of stigma. Even these days with the military, they've done a much better job. But I feel as first responders, law enforcement, they are so far behind in caring and taking care mentally of guys. I mean, you deal with us, we deal with death, destruction, all that stuff. And, when you have an officer that had to respond to an infant dead, I mean,
Right.
shouldn't it behoove on that department to check the well-being, the mental health of that officer who has a child of their own and went to
That
deal with this,
age, yeah.
at that age,
Right.
and went to deal with that? Shouldn't be the department pull them aside and just say, "Hey, go see this person, this counselor."
No,
or
because
whatever.
all they would rather do is do the checkbox.
Oh yeah, no, that's the thing.
Right.
Checkbox training.
I was gonna say, how many people do you know have told you that their boss or whoever the tour commander checked on them after a call? How many people have told you that?
Right.
Oh.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, no, it is. You're bouncing call to call to call, right? You're not really, especially, Pete works in the city, I work in the city. It's like you don't have time because they need you to go into the next call. And by the end of the day, you are so burnt out because let's say if it's a really busy day, you're so freaking burnt out. You just want to come home and just kind of lay down or whatever, and the next day you're doing it all over again.
Yeah, but again, even
right.
both of the ladies we're talking about, like, people need to realize is that you come home, you're looking to unwind.
Oh yeah.
You got 2 kids screaming at you.
Yep.
You got your honey-do list.
Yeah.
You got your tax returns to fucking do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a million things that are just piling up. I'm not saying that we're special. Everybody in life has these things.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right? But the stressors that we're taking on ourselves, you don't need to come home and do your fucking taxes.
No.
No.
Take a break. Put it down.
Take a break.
Yeah.
Do things for
And it's
you.
just,
That's exactly it.
but like the other thing too is that the human psyche is not designed to deal with what first responders see every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The average human deals with 1 or 2 traumas their entire life,
Right.
and some of those have them fucked up for life.
Oh yeah.
Yet we're going to work every day and re-experiencing traumas from before, experiencing new traumas repeatedly, and no one's saying, "Are you good? What do you need?"
Right. It's even when you go through periods of non-trauma, right? Because like I left special ops, I went to patrol, and it was kind of weird for me because I'm like, I'd get calls to fucking move a car from a driveway, and I'm like, you want me to blow it up?
Yeah.
Like, what do you want me to fucking do?
What do I do here?
Call it an airstrike?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what do you really want me to do? Is this a test? But you'd be driving down the street at the witching hour, 3:00 in the morning. You'd be driving down the street,
yeah.
and
Yeah.
you'd smell something, and it would bring back a fucking repressed memory from 6 years ago, and now you're suddenly sad.
Well, that's that's just it. It's a trigger, right? And when we haven't dealt with it, and something triggers it, that's what happens to you, and then it
Right.
all comes up, right? But if we were doing what Jeanna Marie and I are trying to do, and every day we're handling it, and we have the tools to deal with it, that will not happen or will not be as severe. But unfortunately, right now, when you go to the academy, I've been working with a state trooper, and we've just been talking about how, suicide prevention, stress, dealing with it, just check the box. If there's
Right,
no
yeah, that's all it
real
is.
tools provided to you
No.
to be able to go on the job and really actually care for yourself while you're doing this incredibly stressful job.
And let's call a spade, right? And you ladies and Ayman, tell me if I'm wrong. The only reason the department is actually doing this checkbox shit is for A, liability.
Yeah.
B,
Yep.
they don't want you to blow your brains out in your house, and then they'd have to answer to the media.
Yeah.
Or in a car, like some of my friends have fucking done, all alone in a fucking parking lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a liability, and it's time that you guys are doing something awesome. Ayman and I are trying to do something awesome, but it's time that we started kind of throwing it in these people's faces and the politicians' faces and putting it on them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, a great quote.
true.
A great quote I read today is, "Just checking the box has failed this profession and society."
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that quote and it was 100%. It was off a Facebook group called Street Cop Training, I believe. But I was like, man, that is 100%.
100%. Say it again.
Just checking the box has failed this profession and society.
Amen.
Right?
Yeah.
100%.
110%. Yeah.
And now you ladies are doing like so I didn't look into a lot. I looked at your website. I talked to you guys, obviously, but I didn't want to get into too much of my own analysis of what you do. But from what I saw, and only because I knew we were getting you on the show and I wanted you to organically get it out, right? Like, I don't want to give my opinion on this. I want the fact to come out from you. So, but what I'm realizing is that you guys are looking at things in a holistic, in a whole body type of way of taking care of our brothers and sisters.
Yes, that's exactly right. That's our goal, is to provide the support all the way around, right? Because it's not just talking through what you've been through. It's the sleep, right?
Yes.
You are in these crazy schedules constantly. You come home, you're exhausted, and yet for some reason you can't sleep. Well, here's the thing. Your circadian rhythms are all off, but also you have these experiences that you're going through throughout the day, and your mind is going. And so now you're not sleeping well. And it just all starts to build on each other, right? And so we need to sort of get back to a place where I always say I'm the softer side of wellness for warriors because I'm the yoga teacher, But I say we need.
Thanks, Megan.
You ladies want to talk offline, or?
No. I own that.
I'm more of the emotional. We joke when we come onto these interviews, and Jeanna Marie is so solid and relaxed, and I'm more of the nervous one in them. But I always say, we need to feel to heal. So basically, you do a job that is so difficult, and you cannot just push that down. You can't just go into the job every single day and just take it in and do nothing with it, because guess what? After a while, it's going to come up one way or another.
And it's going to explode.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it might not happen until you're retired, right? So you may actually get through your entire career. Then all of a sudden, you're sitting home doing nothing.
Right.
You're no longer a first responder, which has been your identity for 20 plus years.
Right.
And now your mind has nothing to do but wander. And now you have no idea how to take care of yourself. So with Meghan doing the softer side,
I'll never live that down.
Unicorns and rainbows.
Care Bears.
Unicorns and rainbows over there. We do take the holistic approach, because if you're not sleeping and if you're working the clock or you're on midnight, and which isn't normal for your body, you're also not eating right. And we know that when you're not eating right, your mental health is affected. You're probably not working out. If you are, you're destroying your body more than you're building it up, because you're not feeding it, repairing it, all of that stuff. So I provide the nutrition coaching. And I think a lot of people think about it as like, I'm like going to give you a diet. I'm not. I'm going to tell you what's better to eat based on what you like to eat. Because if I give you some restrictive thing and you hate 90% of the foods I tell you to eat, you're going to fail. And then I'm of no use to you. I'll do the nutrition coaching, but the peer support piece too. It's easier to talk to me or one of our peer supporters who know what it's like and know what you're going through, than it is to sit down with a random therapist who is not culturally sensitive to first responders and what we deal with every day.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
So our peer supporters are available all the time. We do have them across the country, in different time zones. So if someone in Cali needs someone, we have them. New York, we do. But they're all solid people who have the same goal and mission that we do, and passion to just help first responders and make sure that everybody's okay.
So how do people get to is it wellnessforwarriors.live?
Yes.
And so everything is there. Is it kind of like a portal? They can just enter their information or call somebody? Like, explain that to me.
So you can get to us through our Instagram page, because if you message the page, Meghan or I will see it and we will respond. But then on the website, you can check off, you can go in and fill out a form. It's super confidential. You can get every service that we provide, or you can just get sleep help, or you can get sleep help and nutrition. You can have whatever combination that you think you need. The request comes through to our administrator, Ashley, who is amazing. And then she forwards it to whichever one of us needs to contact.
So you guys have a team. It's like a well-oiled machine that's getting. See, me hearing that as a police officer for 18 years, it's like I hear that and I'm like, what the fuck are they talking about? Like that can't be true.
Yeah.
We do. We have an amazing team, actually, and we actually support families as well. So on our team, we have Emily Nimp, who her husband was a deputy down in Florida, and he was actually killed on the way to a call.
Jesus.
And yes, and she is exceptional.
Yeah.
She is truly the epitome of resilience, I always say, because she is so strong and she just wants to help. So she supports spouses, families who are either struggling with grief or just, let's be honest, right? The job affects everybody in the family.
Of course.
And so we're very well aware that, similar to what you were talking about, you come home from a long day. Well, it's nice if your spouse sort of understands what you're going through and knows the questions to ask you or is able to talk to you about it. And we want to provide that as well. So we're really looking at it from all angles, and we've sort of built it out to make sure that we're responding to you right away. We're here for you when you need it, because that's what's needed right now.
Yeah, I know.
And with the website also, you can actually go in. So our amazing website and media designer, Nicole, designed our whole website. She honestly is a magician. All of that stuff is like speaking to me in Chinese. So I have no idea what goes on.
Kind of like how Ayman and I do a podcast.
Yeah, exactly. So when she does things, I'm like, holy shit, how'd that happen?
This is all being recorded on like a fucking 86 tape player.
Yeah.
Just so you can.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect.
Yeah. Fucking, what do they call it? Betamax? Remember those things?
Yeah, 8-track tape.
8-track tape.
It's old school.
We make it work though, brother. Fuck
yeah,
it.
Exactly.
So, ladies, let me ask you a question without giving away some trade secrets, okay? Talk to me a little bit about nutrition. Give out some info if you want, like 2-3 minutes of something in it. I know everything is personalized. I get it. But so should we be avoiding certain foods? Should we be, taking other things? Like, talk to me.
So I think that it's really important to plan ahead with nutrition so that you're not, because we know we get stuck at work, you get forced onto OT, you have nothing with you, it's at midnight, like where are you going? You're going to the gas station and getting whatever the hell
I got
is
a
left.
bag of Doritos the other night. I wanted to fucking puke. I got a bag of Doritos because there was nothing else.
That's what I'm saying. No nutritional value. That's definitely not going to help your brain or your heart or anything.
I knew it, but I'm like, I'm getting the shakes because I haven't eaten. My house is an hour away. Like I can't, I got to do something.
Yeah.
So that's why I always recommend keeping healthier snacks in your bag. And things with higher protein or higher fat, like almonds, cashews, trail mix, stuff like that, will keep you fuller longer. So you can kind of get yourself through the shift and then get home and eat something. I think that it's really up to you as far as how often you eat. A lot of people like the smaller snacks and 6 meals a day. I'm absolutely no good at that. So I eat bigger meals. But processed foods are awful. If you pick something up and you can't pronounce the first 3 ingredients in it, you shouldn't eat it.
Yeah, it's a good way to think about it. Wow.
Yeah. Whole foods. So anything you can buy in the produce section at the grocery store, stuff that you can cook yourself. I'm a big proponent of really quick meals. I don't think anything that I cook or bake takes more than a half hour. So it's always whole foods, vegetables. Having a very colorful plate is really helpful too. And drink a lot of water.
That's the one thing I do. I drink a ton of water.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I drink tons of
Probably
water.
Probably a gallon a day.
For snacks. So it's, the guys know me at work. Like, I constantly eat. I take a huge Yeti cooler and just fill it with all kinds of foods and everything. And all I do, it seems they're like, dude, all you do is eat all day, because I eat like 5-6 meals that I make or that I even order, online, because there's so many companies out there that do make actually pretty good
pre-made
meals.
stuff.
Yeah, it's
the
made.
Meal prep stuff.
Yeah, exactly, the meal prep stuff. So that way I know my macros. This is exactly what I'm getting. I know what I'm doing throughout the day, and even when I go on my SWAT call-outs in my dump pouch, I got protein bars in my dump pouch.
Do you really?
Yeah. So that's all I have.
I'll tell you, man. Quick story. One of the marathon.
Yeah.
During the marathon, and we were looking. What do you call those assholes?
Boathouse and Speed Bump.
Yes.
He
was my favorite. Fucking Speed Bump.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't think the girls got it right away. So let me explain it to you. One was run over. We call him Speed Bump.
He was run over by his brother.
And his brother was the one in the boat. You guys know everything.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Listen, they killed the innocent people. They're pieces of shit, and we can talk bad about them.
And I don't like to give them their names. So
yeah, we're not going to glorify them. But anyway, so one of the biggest things was, do you remember, and you were part of it too, when we searching all the backyards, and it was 3-4 days before we were even home.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking to myself, fucking, where are we? Are we fucking in Afghanistan right now? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the amount of unpreparedness that the department had, we didn't have food.
Well, that was a wake-up call.
For 2 days.
Yeah, that was a wake-up call.
Yeah.
And I remember, I don't want to get into too much detail, but I remember we had, as a last resort, we had, I think, 3-day-old McDonald's from the Red Cross.
Oh, that is delicious.
Oh, yeah. And it was like,
God,
you took a bite, and it was like the devil and the angel on your shoulders. Like, they were like, this is so good, but you're going to puke this up, asshole. Like, it was like...
Yeah.
It's a great diet plan. I mean, eat 3-day-old McDonald's and you're going to throw it right up.
But what are you going to do?
Yeah,
a lot of guys started carrying the protein bars. They started carrying those little gel packs and all that stuff.
I got so many snacks in my dump pouch. It's hilarious. I got to make room for my magazines when I at the range, because all I have is snacks in that thing.
Like Cosmopolitan?
Yeah, Cosmopolitan, GQ. Listen,
Fucking People magazine.
Again, I'm Lebanese. We gotta keep up with the latest trends. All right. Remember, white leather jacket.
White leather, baby.
Hell yeah.
Get in my BMW.
Exactly. House music in the background. It's like a club every time I come in my house.
Hey, so do you shave your head?
Oh, absolutely.
So when you had hair, were you fucking styling it like this, or was it like...
Oh, dude, I was, before the military, yeah. I
styling, moosing it up.
Oh, yeah, man. I was
savage. I got to see these pictures.
I used to even do some hair colors on the extensions of my hair. Like,
shut the fuck up.
Oh, yeah, dude. I was all in, man.
You got to share this.
Hey, in my car, I used to have these neon lights that go with the music. Oh, yeah, man.
Oh, my God.
I was totally the original Fast and the Furious type guy.
Vin Diesel.
Exactly. So, but yeah, I mean, so with what you guys do, so if someone wants to get a hold of you, and I know we went over that, but during the phone calls, however you need, how often can the individual, the first responder, talk to you guys? Is it all the time? Do you guys check back in with them? How does that work?
So with the peer support, once they put the request into the website, actually notifies me that day.
Okay.
And I email that person to set up a Zoom call.
Okay.
and we talk, and dependent upon what they need, and how severe whatever it is they're going through is. If it's just a check-in, then I'll check in with them next week. We'll talk once a week.
Okay.
If it's more than that, then it's kind of dependent upon where they're at and what they need.
So you're tailoring your program to them.
Yes, 100%.
Okay. That's amazing. That's like the opposite of non-checkbox bullshit.
Well, I mean, I keep thinking back of coming back from home from Iraq, and I remember sitting in this big auditorium, and it was the VA on the stage, and they're telling us, if anyone has any issues, you can come talk to us, but you got to stay on base. I'm like, every single guy in that audience, except for one, unfortunately, the one said, I'm having trouble, when he went in to talk to them, and they kept him on base for 6 months. He couldn't go home.
Shut up.
Yeah. And can you imagine what that did to him?
So this dude came back from war.
Yeah.
He comes back from war, and they keep him on. He's on U.S. soil. He's like, I'm going to see my family.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Well, because he said, he piped up. He said, I need help. And like guys like, myself and a lot of guys, we didn't say one word.
Yeah, of course. Naturally, you're going to be like, this dude just got put away for 6 months.
Yeah, exactly.
And what's worse is they put him in a rear detachment platoon, which is made up of mostly people that couldn't deploy to Iraq for bullshit medical reasons because they didn't want to deploy. So now he's lumped into that group and being treated like crap.
He's just getting knocked out.
Oh yeah, no, I mean you talk about trauma after trauma. Now you're traumatized at war. Now you're traumatized at home because you're getting treated as if you're a horrible guy. And that's the thing as law enforcement, it's almost like the same thing where if you admit to your command that you have issues, now you're a leper.
Yeah,
Right.
You're this broken guy or girl, no matter how good you are as a cop, you could be like a freaking one of the super cops of the department. It's not going to matter.
Like you,
of course, like me. But it's not going to matter anymore because now you've become a liability. Now you're on the rubber gun squad. Now you have to do an admin position and a proactive first responder, a cop. You can't put them like that, because it destroys them. You just destroyed them.
Right.
So
that's so heartbreaking. That's it's so heartbreaking to hear you say that because it just goes against everything that should be happening, and that is really why we're here, because we want people to be able to do their job, but to have the support and not have to fear reaching out for support.
And God bless you guys for doing this, and everybody that's involved in your team. Like, thank you for everything that you're doing. I mean, I'm sure people are going to hear this and they're going to be like, "Oh shit! Like, let me call these people. Let me see if I'm having an issue. I'm having this and that.
Yeah.
Let me ask you girls a question. Talk to me about sleep. I know we've talked about it a little bit. Talk to me about sleep. We know it's important, but like for somebody like me, I can't get more than 4 hours of sleep a day. I get home at 10 or 11 o'clock, and I get home around 8 in the morning. By the time I go to bed, it's 11, and I sleep for 4 hours, and I'm like, okay, now, I got 8,000 things to do, and then I got to go to shift overnight.
And he does sleepwalk and calls me sometimes.
I do call you.
He has no idea what he's talking about. I can hear I can hear the drool coming out onto his phone.
I hope you're recording those calls.
I sing to him apparently too.
Yes, you do. You do. It's gets strange sometimes.
I love you.
But yeah, so like our schedules are everywhere because one I worked for a task force, federal task force that our hours were everywhere.
Right.
I'd be doing search warrants at 5 a.m. I come back home, take a shower, work during the day. All of a sudden, we got to do some other op at 2 a.m. So then I got to get a couple hours of sleep and then go. I remember I had this op not too long ago where we did a SWAT mission, hit the house at dark 30, and I had to be somewhere else at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. Where once I got there, I purposely drove as fast as I can to get to point, operation number 2.
So you could sleep?
I slept for 45 minutes, got up and did the second, talk to us through those types of schedules and how to balance it, so to speak, or how to get the most out of it.
I know it's very open-ended.
Yeah, it is very open-ended because, we all work different hours, different shifts, different units, and we know how important sleep is, but sometimes the mission takes over your life.
Right. that's just, that's the part where we really need to come up with what I typically do with someone who's really struggling is a routine for them, right? So that when you are able to block off whatever it is, 2-3 hours, say you're working a double, something like that, you need the 45 minutes. We come up with something where that will probably be the best sleep that you can get, and we'll come up with a routine for it. But I do, tell people at the end of the day, sleep, right, is this sort of golden chain between the mental and the physical health. And when you do not have proper sleep, your anxiety's up, your stress is up. You start to deal with depression, your mood, you're not thinking clearly. And
it's dangerous.
It is. It's dangerous. And that's exactly it. And so when I speak with someone, when we talk about the job and, how to prioritize life outside of the job, the most important piece I always say is your sleep. Because if you can get yourself at least the 5 to 6 hours of sleep, and again, I know that becomes challenging because you may fall asleep and then 3 hours later you're up, right? Because your body's all off.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's what we work through. And, between different things like minerals, journaling, just a meditation to fall asleep to, normally at first people will sort of laugh at me and say, okay, but then they start to realize that it's really important to take 10 minutes to bring your mind down, because guess what? Then you do sleep longer and it's deeper and you're not as anxious when you wake up. So getting that in and getting that sleep in, even if it ends up just being, 4 or 5 hours, your productivity throughout the day is so much better if we ensure that time is I call it healthy sleep, as opposed to sort of in and out of sleep, waking up, because that is the most important thing. And so when you're prioritizing, that has to be right at the top.
Yeah, I mean, so like, there are times where I wake up, I have Apple Watch, I check my heart rate, stuff like that when I wake up. And depending on the type of day I had, the day before or the night before, whatever, sometimes my heart rate's above 90, or it gets to 100 where normally my resting heart rate's, just under 80 or 72, 71, 69.
I'll tell you, dude, I am fucking scared to do that. Yeah. To put like a monitor on me.
Well, the reason why I did this is part of my process where I learned kind of with the mindful to take that moment, breathe, and then slowly bring my heart rate back down. It's stuff that I had to learn over the years,
right?
Where through various different therapy methods and stuff like that, I had to learn. But I still, being in tune, to me, what I found is being in tune with my body and my mind, knowing exactly how I'm feeling the minute I wake up, is huge for me.
Right.
That way I know, all right, I'm up, I woke up, I'm pissed off, so I'm like, all right, everyone stay away from me. Give me a few minutes. Let me deadlift and throw my weights around and throw my car around.
Right.
And then I'll come back and I should be fine, So to me, like, once I started making those types of connections with my sleep and how I feel, it made a lot of changes for me.
Yeah. And that's so important. And I definitely try to get to more of like the front end of it, right? So before you go to sleep, get you to a place where you aren't waking up like that. Of course, that will happen, but if over time, just doing a 5-minute, they call it box breathing exercise. They do a lot of it
combat breathing.
Combat breathing.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And so you do that before you go to sleep. You'll find that the sleep remains deeper for you throughout. And it's really amazing. Even if you feel like, I'm fine, right? And I'm just exhausted. I don't have time to do this right now. I just want to go to sleep. Then you wake up 2 hours later, right? And you're just sort of really out of sorts.
Yeah.
Whereas if you just implement that routine, you say, okay, for the next 20 minutes, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z before I go to sleep. You'll find over time that the sleep becomes better, deeper, and when you wake up, you don't feel, so many people say to me, I could have slept 6 hours, 7, and I'm still exhausted, or, I can't do it.
I'll tell you, when I go to sleep and I get more than my 4 or 5 hours, if I've gotten like 7, I wake up like headaches, neck aches. I mean, I've had injuries that it's almost ingrained in my brain that, dude, don't sleep that much because you're going to fuck up your neck or you're going to, you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I'm, you know, for me, it's like, you know, anywhere between 4 to 6 hours of sleep is amazing if I get that.
Yeah.
You know, it's just because, you know, we're always on the move. And, you know, one thing I always, myself and Pete, we always talk about is especially the proactive first responders out there. We don't sleep really because we've got so much going on. We wear multiple hats in our police departments.
Right.
You know, we're just not doing just the bare minimum to get by. We're going beyond that. You know, where we're out there doing the hunting, I call it. Oh, can I say hunting in combat?
Somebody's going to get really fucking butthurt.
Oh, boy.
Real easy.
I'm sorry.
You just made somebody mad.
I'm sorry.
We can't say warrior either, you fucking evil bastard.
Oh, my God. Warrior combat. Okay, let me change it on. When we're out there being monks and spreading peace and love, and I'm just kidding. But you know, really, like, you know, when we're out there pushing hard and doing multiple things and wear multiple hats in these departments where, you know, we're just moving. Getting 4 to 5 to 6 hours of sleep is a gift. You know, it just is. And like you said, eventually when we retire, that's, I think, when our hearts explode. Because we never trained ourselves and we never looked after ourselves, or our agency didn't give us a second to say, hey, Ayman, I know you're like a motor cop, SWAT, firearms instructor, DT instructor, use of force instructor. Why don't you take some of that off? Like, you know, take a step back.
I had to do it myself. Yeah. It was a lot to do with my studying for the promotional stuff, but I was like, I can't. Asshole. I quit. I'm fucking off this shit. You girls can fucking deal with him from now on. We're done. Hold on, ready? There's Pete right now.
But I mean, you studying for the promotional exams, that's other layers too.
It was other layers, but think about how stupid that sounds, right? Yeah. Like, I was like, I have to go somewhere else to be quieter. Yeah. Which it wasn't really that much quieter. I just didn't see people shot every day, which is, I guess you could call that quieter.
Yeah.
But, but
quieter.
Yeah, just a little bit gunshot wound every day. But anyway, but I was like, I gotta study.
Yeah.
Which is another fucking stressor. Yeah. And just realizing it now when you said it, I'd never realized it.
Yeah.
Like, when you said it, I'm like, what an idiot.
I mean, it happens where we have to recognize, even our agencies, you know, upper management, where, again, they know they're good officers. They know they're officers that work a lot and do a lot. And I'm not saying work a lot as in do details. I'm saying work a lot, actually do the job. Yeah. And when they are volunteering themselves for all kinds of stuff, the agency has to realize that, you know what, this dude's about to get burnt out. You know, you could see it in their performance. I mean, I've seen it in my performance, you know, at certain times where I'm so tired, I'm messing up. You know, and these investigations, I can tell that I'm starting to lose certain aspects of my senses or my you know,
fine motor skills,
stuff like that, where, you know, I have to take a step back. Even you know, my wife at home, she even says, hey, you got to slow down. You know, where she got to remind me. But again, to me, I work for an agency, and that agency knows how much I work on what I do and all that. And same thing with any other officers out there, where that agency management has to tell their officers, their ultra alpha officer, hey, dude, chill out.
Don't be the alpha right now.
Yeah, just chill out.
Take a back seat for a second.
Let the young guys take some of this stuff. You know, where you know, where we see these young guys, we're like, oh yeah, no, he's not going to be capable, or she can't be doing that, but we got to take it upon ourselves to say, all right, I'm getting, you know, this is a young man's game to be a DT instructor or to do whatever.
Right.
Let me pass the torch off to somebody else that wants to do it.
It's tough. It's tough to do that.
Oh, it's tough. It's impossible. I'm already thinking about it and it's shaking. I'm like, no one's taking firearms instruction. I'm doing that.
Right. Yeah. Because you know you do it right.
Yeah.
And you don't want to say somebody half-assing is. I'm not trying to dog anybody, but you know you're not going to half-ass it.
Yeah.
and you're going to train these guys right.
Yeah. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That is a huge thing. That's the fear of anyone who, let's say, builds a great program, training program or whatever, to pass it off to somebody, and in the past that person
It's fucked it up.
Yeah, fucked it up,
Right.
and you're like, dude, that adds another stressor where now you're going to think it's a reflection on you.
Yeah. Well, other people are going to think it's a reflection on you too.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, it's multiple things that happen, but yeah. I mean, what you ladies do is awesome. I mean, again, like when I first stumbled upon you guys on Instagram, I was watching, I was looking, I see what you guys post.
You were creeping. Shut up.
I was totally internet stalking, and then got to meet Meghan, talk to her for a little while, and really, I mean, your story is just so amazing. I mean, between 9/11, the Boston Marathon bombing, I was like, my God, she gets it.
Right.
You understand it. And Jeanna, the same thing. I mean, you're on the job. You're working. You're giving back to officers that really need it. That you see really need it. And I mean, it's an amazing thing to see you guys do the thing you do, because there's not enough out there for law enforcement.
100%.
There's really isn't. And the biggest thing is that stigma that we got to get over as bosses, as the administrators, as officers ourselves.
We say it all the time, right?
Yeah.
In our show, there is no stigma.
No.
If somebody is fucking looking down on you,
Yeah.
tell me who that person is.
Yeah.
I'll go call him out.
Yeah.
And God fucking help him.
Yeah.
There is no stigma.
No, there isn't. And that's why, one of the things I always say, we only have each other.
Right.
We're the ones that understand what we're going through. Nobody else, and it's very important that we're able to talk to each other.
Yeah. In an open way.
Yep.
Yeah. In a very open way.
Yeah, absolutely.
But here's the thing, right? And as good as we are for each other, we have resources, and these resources are on the phone with us right now.
Yeah.
And we're getting out to thousands of people, and we want everybody check out their website, look into them, talk to them, ask them questions, email. They're going to get back to you. These aren't people that are just checking the box.
No, they actually care.
They actually care. Exactly.
That's different.
They have a heart. Holy shit. They care. And
Mine isn't as soft as Meghan.
Apparently.
No, you got
hold on, is that Jeanna doing this?
Oh, yeah, unicorns and lollipops on one side, and then you've got brute force on the other.
But that's needed.
Don't cry. Here's the box of tissues. Throw them at your face.
Fuck is wrong with you?
Lift.
Hey, let me ask you, was it Meghan? You had told me about magnesium.
Yeah. Magnesium is an amazing mineral that you can use for sleeping. And what's amazing about it is not like, a lot of people say to me, oh, sometimes I take like Unisom or Benadryl or something to kind of, and that just like makes you drowsy and you feel kind of terrible after you've done it.
Is it going to make me feel like this?
Pete.
Silly Pete. Okay, I cut you off. That was really rude of me, but we're just going to play that for another minute.
Pete, what are you doing? What?
I'm trying to piss her off. She's the Care Bear. I want to see if it's real.
Oh, you're going to get punched.
I am going to get fucking punched. Throat slit in my sleep.
Yeah, exactly,
I'm sorry.
Exactly.
I'm apologizing. So, okay, magnesium. Tell me more about it.
So the magnesium will help you. It's just enough to sort of help you relax. So if you do something like I tell people to do, like a meditation or journal for 5 minutes before you go to sleep, it's enough to relax you, to get you to do that, and then to be able to fall asleep. But it has no side effects. You're not like exhausted when you wake up. It's just simply a mineral, so it can't harm you.
Right.
Wow.
I think that's like one option. I mean, there's a lot of other, that's one piece of the puzzle, right? From that holistic approach, but that is one way to start to help you.
So now let me ask you this, diet wise, I like to eat.
Mm-hmm.
So I should be, and I'm saying this in all honesty, I should be 600 pounds. With the amount of food that I eat, it amazes people. People have taken pictures of it.
What are you, 550 right now?
Fuck off, dude. I was going to say something else, but we have two women on the phone right now. I know my mouth is terrible, but...
Go ahead, Pete. Go ahead.
There it is. Yeah. Right there. I'm giving him the finger. You guys can't see it.
Go ahead, Pete. Go ahead.
But anyway, before I was rudely interrupted, 500 pounds, not 550. So I should be 600 pounds with the amount of food I eat, but I like to think to myself that I eat clean, right? Like I'm not eating a lot of junk. Don't think of the Doritos that I had the other night. I like to eat proper food. Mm-hmm. I've been questioning myself. When I went back to midnights, I had to eat before I went to sleep. So like I would eat a breakfast at like 9:30, 10 o'clock, and then I'd be passed out by 11. And some people are telling me that that's bad. Other people are telling me that that's good.
Do you work steady midnights?
Yeah.
It's not great to eat right before you go to sleep. If you are going to, you should eat something that's a little bit higher in fat because that'll also help you sleep better.
Higher fat does?
Yeah. So like.
So I'm essentially on a high fat diet.
Okay. So, well, I do keto and I also don't eat meat. So I eat all fat. So, if I am having a hard time falling asleep or like I wake up in the middle of the night and can't go back to sleep, I'll eat like a handful of cashews. Okay. I go right back to sleep and I sleep great.
So high fat's not terribly bad.
No, the good fats.
No.
Good fats, right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and it's also, as long as you're balancing, because your body uses either carbohydrates or fat as fuel. If you're eating carbs, a lot of carbs and fat, that's when you end up gaining weight and have medical issues. If you're doing high fat, low carb like I do, my body actually, my fuel source is the fat instead of the carbs.
So that's probably why I haven't gained a tremendous amount of weight. Like I've gained 10 pounds, which is not very much for me, but I was thinking like because of midnights and because I'm not wearing 60 pounds of gear every day. I'm not, you know what I mean? I was thinking, fuck, I'm going to start growing a huge gut and this and that.
Yeah.
And knock on wood, it hasn't happened yet. I'm getting there, but I don't know who to listen to. And sitting here listening to you ladies talk, I'm like, fuck listening to everybody else. I'm going to listen to you guys.
And it's also like, depending upon when you start eating, like what time of day. So like when I would work mids, I would still only eat till like 11.
Oh, okay.
Like when I got to work, when I started my tour, I would have something to eat.
Okay.
And then I wouldn't eat until the following day.
Oh, wow. See, I couldn't do that.
I mean, yeah. And like I fasted. So it's really dependent upon what you like to eat, the hours you're eating, and the hours you're sleeping, because we can just adjust your window of time frame of eating as if you were working a day tour. Does that make sense?
It makes total sense. So this is something that you guys can, when Officer John Smith from East Bumfuck, Louisiana calls you, you'll be able to help him with.
Yeah, 100%.
I apologize for my mouth, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm an asshole. See, I just did it again.
See, you just don't stop. Jesus.
I'm sorry, ladies. I'm sorry. I'm really not that big of a savage.
There's no need to apologize.
My God. Well, listen, we're going to eventually, we're going to get on a plan with these ladies, myself and you, Ayman. We're going to get on a plan, we're eating plan. I've been wanting to talk to you about your weight. You have no idea what I just did to him. He's in the fucking corner crying right now.
Oh, my God. I can't believe what you just did.
But listen, ladies, it's been awesome. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Everybody, please go to their website. I want to thank every one of our supporters, Gym Junkies, Live Boston, Vector Shields, Wellness for Warriors, .live. Go there. Havoc Journal. Ladies, say bye to everybody.
Bye,
everyone.
Thank you.
Say bye, Ayman.
Bye.